Okay, now what we have seen so far is what a cityscape is and how it differs than a landscape. So you'll first need some materials at your table. You'll need your blue paper, probably a black Sharpie or maybe a crayon, a ruler, glue, scissors, chalk if you want your cityscape to be colorful, and some newspaper. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw your cityscape. Now I'm done it in pencil and I'm going to show you on black marker, but you're going to draw it in pencil in case you make any errors. So you use your Sharpie and you start drawing out your cityscape, and the cityscape is these tall buildings. We do have a downtown in Kansas City, so we have a bit of a cityscape. Some of you might not have visited it yet, but we do have a nice tall buildings downtown if you look at the horizon of downtown Kansas City. So I'm making these tall buildings with my ruler, and then we go across the paper with the tall buildings. But now I'm putting smaller buildings in front. Let me move this out of the way. Putting smaller buildings in front. Now this is where I have to be careful because I'm drawing it with marker. But if you could see carefully, there is pencil lines that are giving me a guide of buildings that are in front, and you'll notice that when I'm coloring this one, I'm making sure this building is in front of that building. So you can see that this building is in front of that building. But I did draw a little pencil line there, but I'm not going to color that in. So I'm going to do this building over here, but yet it's going to have another building in front of it. So I only do the outside because I can't see the other part of this building because this building in front is hiding it. So once you have your cityscape, you can do anything you want to the tops of your buildings. They don't all have to be pretty squares. They could have different, like this one here, I'm going to make a smaller, like it's got little maybe windows or something at the top. So they could be different shapes at the top of your cityscape. Maybe this one's just going to have this kind of triangle look to it. They don't all have to be just these rectangle city parts. And now I've already drawn these, so I'm not going to add anything to this one. But this one, maybe I'll do a little curve like that. But if I had done it in pencil, I could have added some tops to these buildings too. So there, I've got pretty good. I've got my cityscape all drawn out with my marker. And we're going to make that line a little fatter later. But what we're going to do now is you're going to take newspaper, any kind of newspaper that you like, and you're going to cut and fit those cityscape buildings to your paper. So I've got a couple of cut, but they didn't do a very good job. So I'm going to fit them in here like this one. See, I've got this one down here to fit that square here. So I'm going to cut it to fit my rectangle that I have. Sometimes you have to measure it out. Sometimes you could just eyeball it. So I'm going to fit it in my spot, and then I'm going to glue it down. Get it as close as you can so you can kind of see the black line. Oh, I'm getting close. Oh, did a pretty good job there. Then I'm going to take my glue and glue it down. Now you have to decide, do you like this side better or do you like this side better? I like the regular side better, so I'm going to put glue right on there and glue it down to my blue paper. And you've got to do that for all your buildings. Now I'm going to do the second one. The fun part about this one is you can pick what kind of edge sticks out of your buildings. See how that fits in there? And then you got to do a big one. Now that's kind of a funny shape to have to cut. So maybe you want to put this one on first and then this one, whatever works for you that you think will be easier. That might be easier for you to start that way first. Maybe I'll use this Kansas City Star here. Maybe I'll just cut that big one first and then go with it with the other one on front. Let's see if I can do that. So I cut this newspaper out, And then I could fit it on there like this. And then this second building could fit on top like that. Does that make sense? Once you have your buildings glued on, and your whole paper is covered in with newspaper, then you just have to take your marker and go on top and make that little black line a little thicker so it really kind of shows up. So go around your buildings with a big fat line after all the newspaper's on. Now I only have one slice on there, but after it's all on, you're going to kind of go back over it. You might be drawing on the newspaper, and that's fine, but you're going to go over that to make kind of a really thick stripe around each building. Now, if you want newspaper just like that, that's the way you want your buildings to look, great, you're done. If you don't, you want a colorful cityscape, that is where your chalks come in. And then you could take a chalk. Now, I wouldn't pick too dark of a color, but you could pick a color, and you could color it in to make your buildings have some color to them. You just rub some chalk and rub with your finger lightly to give them a sense that they have different colors to them. And that's the way it looks. Are you ready? Set, go.